What is the best electric pickup truck you can buy? Is it the Rivian R1T, the Ford F-150 Lightning, or is it the brand new Tesla Cybertruck? In this video, I'm going to find out. To do this, I'm going to compare their design. I'll examine their interiors, and I'll tell you all about their cool, unique features. I'll also test their performance from 0 to 60 miles an hour and over the standing quarter mile. And I'll race the quickest truck against a 1,000 horsepower Hummer EV. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Let's start this video by talking about the design of the Cybertruck, and I think its worst angle is the rear. Because of those flat body panels, it just looks like a box, a bit nondescript. And you've probably seen things all over the internet about the fit and finish and how some of the panels don't really line up and some of the gaps. If you look at this over here, I should point out that this is a pre-production car. However, because this is stainless steel and very, very tough, you can't bend it round like you would do on a normal car. That's just the way it is. It's designed like that. It just is what it is. And it is very, very unique. This angle here, now, when you look at this angle, it looks really quite cool. It's starting to look very futuristic, very, very different. And you can see there's not many bends in the panels here. This one just has one bend in it, but it's one huge single panel. And of course, you've got some chunky wheel arches here. And then moving down the side, we've got the doors, which you open by pressing these buttons. Look, there we are. It may sound like I'm on a building site, and that's because I am. Look. It is a building site. We're at Tesla's Gigafactory here in Austin, Texas, which is where they make this Cybertruck. And then you open the front door here like this, look. There you go. Now, these doors have a few more bends in them. So you have 1, 2, 3 creases. It's actually really hard to bend this metal. It's so blooming tough. And this is really cool. This is the largest windscreen on any production vehicle. And this is the largest windscreen wiper on any production vehicle. That's 1.2 meters long. Now moving to the front, distinctive look here. You've got this full length light bar, and the headlights are actually underneath here. These are the headlights. And you've got matrix LED, so they'll blank out part of their beam so they don't dazzle oncoming drivers. I'll quickly show you what the lights look like on this car at night. So here's the rear signature, and come around, we'll have a look at the front. Voila. Unmistakable. It really is a unique looking thing, and you might be wondering, well, wait a minute, these sharp edges, you're going to cut yourself, but it's all been rounded off, so you don't cut yourself on it, thankfully. Nothing else on the road looks like this. So obviously it's dead expensive, right? Well, to be fair, it's a little bit more expensive than they said it was going to be when they unveiled it 4 years ago. Said it was going to start from about $40,000. Actually starts from $50,000. It rises up to $96,000 if you want the tri-motor Cyber Beast version. But if you ask me, that's still quite decent value, really. The Rivian R1T definitely won't turn as many heads as the Cybertruck, but it looks much more futuristic than your average pickup. So the outline is very much like a normal pickup, but it's got some modern elements like this huge light bar across the back. Being an electric vehicle, obviously it doesn't have exhaust pipes, though these design bits here do look a bit exhausty. I don't know why they've done that, but there we go. So moving down the side, wheel sizes actually start at 21 inches. These are the optional 20 inches because they're the off-road wheels, and that's why we've got the off-road knobbly tyres there. Moving down the sides, very pick-up-y. They look flush door handles, and I'll just open them with this rather cool key. Look, it's a carabiner. You can put it on your belt buckle like that, you see. Anyhow, let me just open the door. Look, flush door handles. Lovely. Down the side, we've got the Rivian logo there. Just a normal pickup from the side, really, isn't it? Apart from the rather cool brakes. Look at that. Very sporty looking yellow brake calipers, which go with this cool yellow paint. Here at the front, though, it's looking really modern again, isn't it? Look at that huge light bar. I love the design at the front of this car and the way they have the main headlight elements here. It's so good look in the front. This one has the upgraded off-road pack. Then you get like some extra tough ruggedness, and look, these tow hooks there as well. This is the Rivian logo there, and you actually see it used in lots of different places throughout the truck. For instance, there on the lights and on the pillar between the front and rear doors. Another thing I want to show you is this. Look, when you lock the truck, hear that? So funny. It tweets like a bird. Now, the starting price of this car, truck is $73,000. If you want a dual motor performance version with a bigger battery, it costs around $94,000. An entry-level Ford F-150 Lightning is much cheaper than the Rivian at $49,995. But this top specification Platinum version with a bigger battery costs $91,995. So the back of it is very similar to the normal F-150 pickup, apart from the fact you get this full width light bar and the little lightning patch down there. Moving down the side, once again, not that much has changed apart from the lightning logo. Wheel sizes start at 18 inches, which could be a bit small, but they rise up to 22, which is what these are. The size is just like the normal F-150, so you've got that handy little cutaway there, so it makes it easier to see in these mirrors here. This is a bit different on the Lightning. This little panel here, which is your charging port. Then at the front, another big change is this. You can get it with a full-length light bar across the top of the grille, which isn't actually a proper grille. It's all blanked in. On this particular high-spec version, has like a diamond pattern to it. There's no open grille on this. It's electric, doesn't need it. Buying a new or used car? Then you need to visit CarWow, and we'll help you find your perfect car at a price you'll love. Just answer a few simple questions about the car you want, and our trusted dealers will come back to you with great offers. Then choose the offer that's right for you and contact the dealer directly through CarWow. No haggling, no fees, and on average, CarWow users save over £1,800. But what if you're not sure which car you actually want? No problem. Just watch our insightful video reviews, read our impartial expert advice, or use our helpful car buying tools to discover your ideal car in no time at all. No wonder 95% of customers surveyed said they wouldn't buy a car without CarWow. I've put a link in the description of this video and the pinned comment to take you directly to CarWow so you can see for yourself how it can help you, or you can just click on the pop-out banner that should be appearing up there right now. Alternatively, just Google "Help Me CarWow" and my team and I will help you choose your perfect car and get it for a price you'll love. Now on with the video. Even though it's the cheapest, I think the Tesla looks the best, mainly because that stainless steel body is completely unique. It also means you can do this. Come on, join in, guys. This sounds like a stupid test, but let me show you why it's important, with the help from a shopping trolley and an angry racing driver. It's every car owner's worst nightmare. Get to the supermarket and some idiot isn't paying attention and they like, oh, whoops. Doesn't matter, really doesn't matter, look, whoop. Oh dear, doesn't matter. Although you might say, well, what happens if you've got like a basket full of shopping? Well, instead of a basket full of shopping, I'm going to get a basket case. Sam is not only a racing driver, he's also a stuntman. So Sam, can you get in the trolley? Get yourself nice and comfy. Put that on your head. Let's see what this does. This is considerably heavier. Here we go. Ready? Again? One last time for good measure. Sorry, Tesla. That's enough of that. How do these trucks stack up on the inside? The Cybertruck's design is very Tesla-y in the way that it's minimalist with no buttons at all, really, as everything is controlled through this touchscreen. And it's a new touchscreen. It's very, very zippy. Look at that. And I can do things like open the front, mess around with the tonneau cover, open the charge port by pressing on these buttons here. In fact, do you want to see the front open? Look, it's the first powered front on any car. Go on, ready? Watch this. Close. I don't know why I'm making that noise. Anyway, so you got all your usual Tesla-iness, so you can whip through all the different controls. You got your navigation, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go into detail. You got your gamesy, toy boxy, nonsensey, kind of make farty sound stuff. You got your climate control through there. You got your satellite navigation. Where are your satellite navigation? There we go, satellite navigation. See how zippy that is. Really, really good. Anyway, let's move on to the fact that that is where all your information is. Unfortunately, they haven't fitted a heads-up display to this car. I mean, they really, really should have done, because that's one thing that's always missing from Teslas. Now, if you need to control things like the indicators, they're all there on the steering wheel. You've got your voice commands there. You've got your windscreen wash there as well. If you need to change your mirrors, you have to go in here and what do? Yeah, you go into that car, blah, 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 blah. Mirrors, there. There we go, and then you move them using those buttons. Then if I want to move the steering wheel, I do that, and then I move the steering wheel up and down, like that, in and out. Ooh, ooh. That brings you up to the steering wheel itself. So it's like an evolution of the yoke from the Model S, but it's much better. It's much easier to use. More on the steering in a bit, but thankfully, you've got a horn that's easy to get at rather than having to press some buttons. I like that. In terms of the fit and finish, well, I have said this is a pre-production version, but generally it's pretty decent. If you look at the dash here, you can see some of the stitching is a bit wonky-ish, and look at that there, but that's probably pre-production in us, and so is this, look. I'm sure customer cars are a little bit better. I think people go on a lot about the build quality in Teslas, and they're not the very best. A Lexus does have better build quality, but I don't think they're so far behind the Germans as you might think. Anyway, let's go and look at some of the storage. Big storage bin under here. You've got some cup holders there. You've got wireless charging there for your mobile phone. There's loads of space under here for your bags and whatever. You've also got some decent sized door bins. Come and look at the door bins. Look there, plenty of room for bottles. In fact, let me just grab a bottle. I mean, it's quite a small bottle, but there's plenty of space. And I want to show you the glove box. So I have to go into car, and actually, let's do this. Open glove box. There we go. Close glove box. This command is not available. Why is close glove box not available, but open is? Let's just press tab on here. Look, just weird. Maybe that's because it's pre-production. I hope so. I mean, come on. As for the seats, they're quite sporty in design, but they're not the most body hugging. But they're comfy. The only thing I'm not so sure about is the way this headrest sort of protrudes forward. I'm not sure that's good for posture. Anyway. Look at that, the view out is pretty incredible. It's huge windscreen, and look, you got some visors, a bit like on the Model X. You fold those down if you need a bit more visoriness. But smallest vanity mirror considering the size of the visor, and of course you can do this, look, to move them that way. Dun, 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 dun. The Cybertruck's minimalist interior definitely divides opinions. Personally, I like it, but I think I like the next truck's cabin even more. I've got to say, I love the interior design of this Rivian. It doesn't feel like a truck at all. It feels like an expensive car. Now, it may look like leather, this, and it feels like it, but it's not. It's vegan friendly, as is the steering wheel, though it doesn't feel like leather so much, which is a bit of a shame. Roof lining is made out of recycled materials, but it doesn't feel in any way recycled. Big shout out to the seats as well. These seats look cool. They're really comfy. They feel expensive, and obviously you've got full electrical adjustment. And it is easy to get an ideal driving position in this car, though. To set the steering wheel, you do have to go into the screen and then adjust the steering wheel using these buttons here like that. So come on, there we go. Yeah, just like in a Tesla. So they try to reduce the amount of clutter and buttons, so a lot of things are just controlled through here, and then the buttons on the steering wheel. Once you set the car up, it's not such a problem, but it is a bit of a faff when you first get into the car. Speaking of the infotainment system, really nice big digital display. You go through the different menus like that, and with the climate control, you actually control the air vents by sliding the angles around like that on the screen. Touch sensitive buttons rather than physical buttons, so they're a bit harder to press when you're driving, but it's not too much of a faff. You've got good mapping there like that, and obviously you can plug in your destination. It'll work out your charging points as well, so you always get to your destination with some charge, and you can just switch through different menus like that. I like it. So far, that all sounds pretty similar to the Cybertruck. However, there's one very important thing you get in the Rivian that you don't get in the Tesla, and that's a digital driver's display. This means you can easily check your current speed without glancing at the main touchscreen. You can't really change what you see on there, but it doesn't matter. There's enough information for all that you really need. Another thing that I like about this car is the storage. So underneath here, look, you have a big storage bin. And then here you have a wireless charging pad for your mobile phone. So even if you've got a big, silly, semi-tablet phone like me, there's plenty of space for it. And you can even put that in there if you want to. Here you have some big cup holders. There is no glove box though, but you'd have a big storage area there where you can put a bag. And the door bins, look, got a big bottle in the door bins there. I like the way that they're like folder style, like on the back of an airplane seat. They feel expensive, as do the door handles, which are, well, seem like they're solid metal. Don't know if they are. You've also got aluminium pedals. The floor mats, even though they're rubberized, they're like hard wearing, they feel expensive as well. No, look, there's your Rivian logo. Told you there's loads of Rivian logos. In fact, look here on the charge pad, there's little Rivian logos as well. It's all very nice, all very well thought out. I mean, even this, look, you got a nice big mirror there with 2 diffuse lights so you can look at yourself. Feel very smug about the fact you're driving a pickup truck, which is environmentally friendly. And no animals were killed in the production of the interior either. The Ford F-150 Lightning's interior definitely looks more conventional than the other 2 trucks. However, Ford has given this electric F-150 some important upgrades to make sure it doesn't look the same inside as its petrol and diesel powered equivalents. For starters, you get the same touchscreen infotainment system as the Mustang Mach-E. The menus are pretty easy to figure out and to work through, no problem at all. What's not so good though is it's a little bit sluggish at times. When you press the button, you have to wait for a while for it to actually do its thing. Yeah, it's not quite as rapid as the infotainment system in a Tesla. Now, the F-150 Lightning also gets a digital driver's display. And when you turn it on, this noise, ooh, builds suspense. The digital driver's display is pretty clear, gives you all the information you need. So I like that about it. Another thing that the Lightning has is this feature. I can press this button and my knob retracts, and then I can flip this lid over and I have a huge table to do some writing or work on. That's good, isn't it? Obviously you need that when you're sat at the charging port waiting for hours and hours to put a few miles into your huge battery pack. Anyway, other than that, the interior is just the same as an all F-150 in terms of the dash design and the quality. And overall, it's pretty good. So the materials in this Platinum range topping version feel fairly plush. You've got 2 big cup holders there. Underneath here, there's a big storage bin where you keep the 2 rather large manuals. And there's a shelf in here with different cutaways for various sized coins. Some storage under here, look at this. We have a massive charging pad there, and you've got USB normal, USB-C. Then on the side you've got an old-fashioned 12-volt socket, and look, a proper mains output, 3-pin socket. It's actually 2-pin because this is American, obviously. But yeah, it can run normal household appliances because you've got that huge battery. You've also got some big, massive door bins. I mean, look at them, they're huge. Plenty of room for a big bottle, some more storage space up here as well. You've also got a double glove box. There's the top glove box there for your 22, and then you've got your bigger glove box there for your 45. Then you have some useful things to help you get in and out of the car, like these grab handles, huge sun visors which do move across and slide back like that. Shout out to the straight pipes for that test. And a big vanity mirror. Oh yeah, and of course you've got your sunglasses holder up there as well. Is there anything I've forgotten? I don't think so.
What about the seats, Matt?
Oh yeah, the seats, yeah. So the seats in this range topping Platinum are rather lovely. You've got massage function for both the driver and the passenger. You have Bang & Olufsen speakers in the headrest, and then this other feature here, which I'm not entirely sure what it's for. If you have any idea, let me know in the comments. I haven't done sufficient research, obviously. There's no doubt that the F-150 Lightning has some cool interior features, but it isn't the only EV with some tricks up its sleeve. I'll tell you more about those in a bit. But overall, the Rivian R1T is the nicest truck to sit in. It just looks posher than the Ford, and it's more intuitive to use than the Tesla. It also has decent levels of technology and practicality. But is it the same story in the rear seats? Here in the back seats, the quality theme continues, and there's plenty of knee room. Headroom is good as well. People over 6 foot will be fine back here. We've also got this lovely big glass roof which lets light in, and because you've got a flat floor, because obviously all the batteries are underneath the floor, there's plenty of foot space, so if you need to carry through it once, there's room for everybody's feet. Now what sometimes happens in electric cars is because of those batteries underneath the seats seem quite low, but not in this, so it's nice and comfortable. Also look there, you've got your Isofix anchor points for fitting baby seats. You've also got some posh, look at this with the buckles, the folds on the back of the seats. You've got a coat hook there, you've got USB-Cs there, you've got your climate control there with more USB-C. UPVCs there, and you probably can't see it, but there is a normal 3-pin socket there as well. Now check this out, right, look, underneath here we have some extra storage and a subwoofer for the stereo system. You also get a couple of cup holders and some extra storage in the center armrest. And there's a door between the seats that lets you access a hidden storage compartment. But the Rivian isn't the only truck with some cool rear seat features. Check out the Tesla Cybertruck's back seats. There's plenty of room, so look, knee room's good, headroom, I can fit my hand above my head like that. I'm 179 centimeters tall. People over 6 foot will be fine. People much over 6 foot will struggle. One thing I do worry about though is because you've got this huge, lovely glass roof, if you go over a bump, like when you're going off road, you might end up going like that, and that is not yielding at all like a normal car's headliner would be. Is it going to happen to you? I don't know. Just yeah, be careful, right? Now, being an electric car, obviously you get a completely flat floor, and the front seats are lifted up quite a way so you can really stretch out. Look at that. I like that. Also in the back you've got this infotainment screen here so you can control your climate and all that kind of stuff. What else can you do? Let's get into this mode here so I can turn on the heated seats, and can you see that? So I can move the front seat forward. So if I really want to create a lot of room in this particular seat, look at that. Yeah, look at all this space. You can really stretch out then, look. Look at that. It's like a limousine. Right, let me put that back. Another thing I want to show you is this. Really nice feature if you've got 3 children. 1, 2, 3 ISOFIX fittings. That's really good. Another thing I want to show you is this, look. The rear doors open to 90 degrees pretty much, so it makes it nice and easy to get in and out. Plus, if I pull on this little strap here, see that? Pull that. I'm gonna lift this up. It's like on a Honda Jazz. Pull this on. And I guess if you needed to, you could then have a sleep here, couldn't you? When it comes to backseat practicality, however, the Ford F-150 Lightning is on another level. You can only get the Lightning in the biggest double cab body style. Now that does mean that you get lots of knee room, and I mean lots. Decent amount of headspace, huge back windows, very comfy seats, a couple of cup holders here. You've also got a mains power socket down here and USB charging ports here. You've got pockets on the seat backs, there's various door bins here and a special cup holder here. Some more cup holders here as well. And I want to show you this, look. If you lift up the seats, look, you lift them up like that. You can carry items just in this space here if you want to. Carry items behind this little ledge here, or you can create a locker by doing that, pulling that up like that, and then you've got a locker underneath the seats. I'll lock this one up. Let me just do this, sorry. There we go. Oh, you just can't get the staff these days, can you? I want to show you this as well. I like this. You can open the rear window. Just press this button. Here we go. That pleases me. I don't know why, it just does. But is the Ford F-150 Lightning still the most practical when it comes to carrying bulky loads instead of passengers? As with the normal F-150, the Lightning has a big load bed. Capacity is 1,495 litres, which is a bit more than 1,356 litres you get with the GMC electric Hummer. Also, if I can get to it, you've got some more plug sockets there for your household appliances. There's even a 240 volt 30 amp socket if you want to run things like work equipment like chainsaws and stuff like that. You've also got some tie down points there as well, and there is one thing that's a bit annoying about this though. There's no load bed cover. So whatever you keep in there is going to get wet if it rains, or it's just there for prying eyes to see. You won't have to worry about this with the Rivian R1T because it has a locking tonneau cover. But the R1T's 827 litre load bay is much smaller than the F-150 Lightning's. And look, underneath here you have some more literage. We do have a full-size spare, but this actual well is about 200 litres and you can fill it full of ice to put like drinks in there, and there's a drain plug in there so when it all melts you can just let it all out. Obviously it's a long bed as well, look at this, and it can take quite some weight. Now I want to show you something else. Just in here there's a little insert there where you can put a special cable, so you can like attach it to whatever you're carrying in the back, such as a bike, a motorbike, a quad or something. And it's linked to the car's security system. So it has something similar to Tesla, like the Sentry system, which has cameras which records if someone like gets near to the vehicle or tries to fiddle with it. And with the gear guard wrapped through your motorbike or whatever, if someone tries to pull on it, it senses the pressure and it'll actually alert you on your mobile phone so you can see what's going on. All very clever. Tesla has even more heavy-duty tricks up its sleeve, including the most over-engineered load cover I've ever seen or stood on. This tonneau cover is so strong, you can do that and it won't break. Which means that your stuff should be nice and secure in there. Now, to lower the tailgate, you press this button and it's damped, though to put it back up, you have to do it manually. To retract the tonneau cover, press the button, away it goes. Also, got some nice features in here. So there's light bars there. You have, let me just get on here. Of course you can sit here if you want to. Underneath here, some storage. And you can fill this with ice and then put your beer and drinks in there, because look, in there is a little drain plug, see that? So the water, after the ice has melted, can then be drained away. Shut that back down. We have various points for tethering. There we go, look, various points. And apparently, don't these double as bottle openers? You can open your bottles of beer on there. But the best thing about the Tesla Cybertruck is how much stuff you can carry in its load bed. In fact, here's a very useful and not at all geeky table so you can see how all these trucks compare. The towing capacity, it is just under 5 tons, which is the same as the Rivian R1T. It's better than an F-150 Lightning, better than a Hummer EV, but not quite as good as the best Ford F-150. That'll do 6 tons, but still fairly impressive. Now, is there something else I need to tell you? Oh yes, payload. So you can carry 1.1 tons worth of stuff in here, which is better than this truck's electrical equivalent. However, it's not quite as good as what you can carry in a Ford F-150, a normal one with an internal combustion engine, because they have a payload of almost 1.5 tons. Unlike that petrol-powered truck, however, all these EVs have extra front storage where an internal combustion engine usually goes. So, there we go, it's quite large. In fact, you could use this as a seat. You can carry up to 200 kilos in weight. I wonder if I can fit in here with this shut. Let's give it a go. Come on. Come on. Ow. Oh, no, not quite. The Rivian's front boot isn't quite big enough to hide in either. That's partly because the Rivian's front end doesn't open like on the Tesla. So it's a bit tricky to load heavy items. You do get 330 litres of space though, and there's some extra underfloor storage for spare charging cables. But that isn't the only storage you get in the Rivian R1T. So one of the really unique features on this truck is what they call the gear tunnel. I mean, look at that. I'll just run round and show you. It is really large. See? Hello? You're right. It's huge, isn't it? And the tunnel. Rivian used to offer the R1T with an optional fold-out barbecue kitchen you could store in this tunnel. For some reason, though, the company decided to take this off the options list. That's a real shame. I really like the induction hob and the folding sink and all the hidden utensils. But the option wasn't cheap. It cost about $5,000. I'm assuming that pretty much no one bought it, and that's why it was discontinued. There aren't any secret tunnels or folding kitchens in the Ford F-150 Lightning, but you do get plenty of cool features in what Ford calls the Mega Power Frunk. This capacity, 400 litres, you can fit a lot of stuff in here, and you've got some storage under here for your cables. There's also, look, this big power bank here where you could plug in lots of electrical equipment, household appliances yet again. But if you need to jump start someone with a normal petrol diesel engine, then don't worry, look, you have access, whoops, sorry Ford, to a normal 12-volt battery there. So despite its smaller front boot, the Tesla is still the most practical electric pickup here. But which truck has the coolest extra features? Well, the Tesla has the geekiest features of any pickup I've ever driven. But what did you expect? It's a Tesla. This is the only production road car that doesn't have the steering in any way, shape or form connected to the wheels. Look at this. Look, I'm turning the wheel. Look. But what's happened to the wheels? Oh no! Now, if I turn the car on, you will see that my wheels are now connected to the steering wheel. Watch. Can you see that? What's really interesting is that I can go from lock to lock just by turning the wheel that much. It means that you don't have to do any wheel twirling while doing low speed maneuvers. However, the faster you go, the steering gets less sensitive, so it just figures out how much to turn the wheels, the right amount of steering that you require for the maneuver you're trying to make. And to help you make your maneuvers, look, the back wheels turn as well. Now, before you get all a bit too worried about the fact that what about safety, because oh my god, no, like the steering isn't connected to the wheels, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Don't worry, there's 3 sensors which control what the wheels do, and that means that you've got 2 are just there for redundancy. And also, we've already got cars that do brake by wire and throttle by wire, so why not steering by wire? There's no need to worry. One of the things you can do with this truck is change the drive mode to off-road and then go into Baja mode, which will lift it up. I can then alter the split of the drive. I can have it all the way to the back or all the way to the front, or a mixture of whatever I want in between. So I'm going to put it all the way to the rear. Then I'm going to put the stability assist into minimum, and let's see what I can do. It's crazy. If you want to, you can run household appliances from this Tesla. You just open this flap up there and you just plug in your normal plug here. What you can actually do is connect it to your house and provide electricity for your house for up to 3 days usage. You know, this is a vehicle that's designed for the apocalypse, and that's obviously why you're capable of running your house. Give you 3 days before the zombies come to get you. For a pickup truck, this thing is quite aerodynamic. It has a drag coefficient of 0.34 CD. It's not quite as good as a Rivian R1T, which has a drag coefficient of 0.30. However, to put things into perspective, a Ford F-150's drag coefficient is 0.44 CD. Now, these wheel trims do help with the aero, and I quite like the look of them, but if you don't, you can just rip them off and go with the alloy wheels, though that will decrease your range ever so slightly. The Cybertruck's front and rear chassis members are made from one single piece. They're absolutely huge, and they're pressed out of aluminium ingots by the world's biggest automotive presses. The one that does the rear subframe actually has 9,000 tons of pressure. The one that does the front has 6,000 tons of pressure, and the chassis member at the front actually has built-in crumple zones, and they don't actually take up that much space, but they ensure that while the body is strong, it can still give you plenty of crash protection in an impact. That's not all. This car is fitted with an 800-volt electrical system. What that means is that you can run thinner wires, because if you have more voltage, you need less current, and with less current, you can have thinner wires. Thinner wires mean less weight. Clever.
Rivian has gone for a more practical approach with some of the R1T's features.
Want to change the location of your roof bars? Well, they are easily removable, adjustable, and you can even mount them. This is going to be really ungainly. On here, look, slidey, locky. Not sure about this pose though. There's a flashlight in the driver's door, look at that. Oh, I quite like the way it extends. It feels really expensive as well. It's metal, and it's always going to be charged because it charges off the car's battery, and because the car's got all the kilowatt hours, this will never be without power. Want to go off-road? Well, you're going to have to ensure that your tyres are at the right settings, aren't you? So in here, you have a special high pressure hose, and you simply plug this into... They're handy, these watches. They interrupt you when you're doing pieces to camera. You plug that into there, and then you can set the pressure that you want, plug that into your tyres, and you can just set it for with your off-roading or on-roading. Ow, it's all going wrong and everything's beeping now. Here's a feature I absolutely love. Look at this. Underneath here is a removable Bluetooth speaker, which Rivian calls the camp speaker because you can beam music from the car stereo or from your phone and play it outside the car while you're camping.
The Ford has plenty of useful technology too.
You can get something called zone lighting, and it allows you to turn on lights around the vehicle. So if I press this button here, it will turn on the headlights. This button here, it turns on the light from the indicator and the puddle lighting. This button here turns on all the lights at the rear of the vehicle, in the low bed and the tail lights. And then if I do that, I've got the left side lit as well now. So you can have 360-degree lighting, which is handy if you're at a dark campsite. How is someone like me, who is about as supple as glass, get up into this low bed? Oh, it's not happening. Thankfully, there's a little step here to help you. So just made that one. There we go. Did that just break? If you've been enjoying a little bit of legalised Californian doobie and you need to take an emergency nap, but there's someone already passed out on the back seat, don't worry, the front seat's a bit of this. Oh yeah, you know where this is going. We're going totally flat. Oh yeah. And now you can just lie back, shut your eyes and focus on getting over this horrendous whitey. As well as marijuana, there's some other things that are legal in certain parts of the United States of America, and that's adaptive cruise control, where you don't have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. However, you do still have to be paying attention, and to make sure you are, this system has a special sensor underneath here which just checks that you're keeping your eyes on the road and you haven't like fallen asleep or just climbed into the back for a rest. It's called Blue Cruise, though that sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? Hey, do you fancy joining me on a blue cruise? Let's just all get naked. The Lightning is the only F-150 to get independent rear suspension. All the other trucks have a rigid axle. Now, admittedly, a rigid axle is better than independent rear suspension for off-roading, but it's nowhere near as good for driving on-road, which is where this truck will mainly be driven anyway.
I'll compare how these trucks drive in a moment, but first we need to talk about the batteries and their motors. The standard Ford F-150 Lightning comes with a 98 kilowatt-hour battery pack. This gives up to 240 miles of claimed range. You can upgrade to a larger 131 kilowatt-hour battery in higher trim levels, and this gives you up to 320 miles of range. Things are a little bit more complicated with the Rivian because it comes with a choice of 3 batteries. These are called Standard, Large and Max. Unfortunately, Rivian doesn't state the usable energy capacity of these batteries, which isn't very helpful, but it claims dual motor trucks with the standard battery have about 270 miles of range. The Large pack gives you 352 miles of claimed range, and the Max pack should manage 410 miles on a full charge. The high-performance quad motor truck, which I'll test in a bit, is only available with the Large pack. This version has 328 miles of claimed range. But how do these numbers compare with the Tesla Cybertruck?
So this Cyberbeast version has a range of 320 miles. If you have the normal dual motor version, then it's 340 miles. But what you can get is a range extender, which is basically a battery pack from a Tesla Model 3, which then goes into the load bed. Obviously it eats into the space, but it does increase your range. And if you have the dual motor version, that gives you up to 470 miles of range. I've actually got the Trip computer running on this car, and we're going to work out the efficiency because this new Cybertruck actually uses Tesla's latest battery tech. It's more advanced than the batteries in the Tesla Model 3, which are more advanced than the batteries in the Model S. They're actually these huge cells, much bigger than using any other Tesla, but they're way more efficient. We'll see just how efficient in a moment when we work out the average efficiency.
So this round goes to the Tesla, so long as you pay extra for the optional range extender. But is a Cybertruck better to drive than the R1T or the F-150 Lightning?
So we're heading out of Tesla's Gigafactory. I've got the car set up in my preferred settings, so it's quite easy to do. You can just go into dynamics and go into custom. So I've got full-on acceleration, but the ride and handling in relaxed. So it's slackened off the air suspension, and I've lowered the ride height because that'll probably help with the comfort as well. And it is pretty easy, pretty relaxing to drive. One thing that really stands out compared to normal pickup trucks is just the way this thing goes down the road. Pickup trucks can feel a little bit kind of shaky and jittery with a ladder frame chassis, and the fact that their rear suspension is really, really firm because they're actually better and designed to be taking like loads in the load bed. So when you don't have anything in there, they feel very, very bouncy. Whereas this, with the air suspension, adaptive dampers and all that kind of tech, it's just way more comfortable. And my gosh, you have some insane acceleration. Whoa, that is just brutal. It's quite weird. I went to look in the rear view mirror, then realised I got to look down there because this one doesn't even have a rear view mirror. But that sort of works. It's not as good as a rear view mirror because that's quite small to look at. The steering, it's really quite sensitive. So normally a pickup steering isn't like that. You turn the wheel actually a little bit in a normal pickup and you don't get any response at all. So it is a little bit flighty. I suppose I've just got to recalibrate my brain a little bit and then it'll all be fine. But I definitely prefer this steering wheel than the yoke. Safety system picked it up there. I couldn't see in that mirror that there was a big ass truck there, but this picked it up. So I should have been looking there instead of there, because look, when I've got the indicator on, it showed me what's in my blind spot. Maybe I'll move the mirror, which is a bit of an arse. So mirrors unfold. No, they're already unfolded, so I'm going to have to go to controls, mirrors, left, do this quick before we get going. There, that's better. Turn off the indicator, press it again. There we go. That was the truck I almost crashed into. Just how high def is that screen? That's so good. That was interesting, just how little I had to turn the steering wheel then to get around that corner. Oh yeah, the suspension is so good over these expansion joints. So good. I mean, it feels like a luxury car, not a blooming pickup. It's madness that you can have these cameras running the whole time. Normally, they switch off in other cars I've been in. I've got to make sure I'm not distracted by them. But it does allow you to see all the way around you. This truck is fitted with laminated glass all the way around to help reduce wind noise. And for a truck, it is pretty quiet. Definitely feels more like a car than a truck. I'm not sure if this one, being a pre-production, has the autopilot system. Autopilot, multi-pilot, dome lights on. No. Maybe it doesn't understand English, although my English is from the West Midlands, which is a bit weird, mate, eh? It's definitely got all the functionality. Look, it's spotting the cones in the central reservation, it's got the white lines, it's got all the cars around me. It knows where everything is. I thought that this sensitive steering would be quite twitchy when you're going a little bit quicker, but it figures out exactly your speed, what you're trying to do. It just doesn't feel flighty. I mean, it's not the be-all and end-all of steering feel, but it's all right, it's good enough. One thing I'm quite surprised at is that even though the Cybertruck is on mud tyres, there's not that much road noise. There is a hee sound, but I'm not sure if that's the motor. Right, I'm going to put in here. I'm going to head to Walmart and do some shopping. Really, I'm surprised how comfy this thing is. Regen braking, you can use one pedal driving. Look, it'll bring you to a complete stop. So you don't really have to touch the brakes when you're just manoeuvring around like this. Speaking of manoeuvring around, this thing has a turning circle just 11.3 metres, so it's quite easy to do U-turns. See if we can do one without killing these people. Will it make it round? They're busy filming it. I don't think I'm supposed to be driving over this bit. Let's go back the way I came. I'm just going to park it. This is where the steering really comes into its own because it's just effortless when you're doing these kind of manoeuvres.
So the Tesla Cybertruck is actually very easy to drive, despite the fact it looks like something from outer space. But before I check out the other two trucks, how close did I get to Tesla's claimed range?
So my little drive here, I did 419 watt hours per mile. And when you calculate that as 2 miles per kilowatt hour, it works out to 2.4. Multiply that up by the battery capacity of 123 kilowatt hours. And this car is doing a real world range of 294 miles, which isn't that far off Tesla's claim of 320 miles on a full charge for this particular car.
Next up, it's the Ford's turn.
Right, let's see what this F-150 is like on a motorway dual carriageway. So I'm cruising along at just under 50 miles an hour. I'm going to get to 70. Let's see how long that takes. Throwing the throttle now. Yep. It's really good for overtaking on the motorway. And obviously on the motorway, being sat up high gives you a great view out. The seats are comfy. Because this is quite a slab-sided car, you get a bit of wind noise from up here, but I can't hear any tyre noise. There's no noise, obviously, from the electric motor. It's silent pretty much. It's all very relaxing. And of course, I can go into cruise control mode and the car will just do the hard work for me. And if I wanted to, I could take my hands off the steering wheel. No, that would be illegal in the UK. Shame. I just do it like, it's like, just like that. That's fine. not breaking any laws, that's all fine. Car steering, keeping me in lane, using radar to keep me a safe distance from the car in front. All very easy. Yeah, this thing is nice and relaxing to travel in. So I'm looking down at the trip computer and it's saying I'm averaging 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which when you do the maths, it means that on a full charge, you're going to get around 288 miles, which isn't brilliant, but it's close enough to the claimed range from Ford for this particular vehicle of 300 miles. Okay, let's see what this F-150 is like on a twisty English country road. So I've got the one pedal drive off, so I don't have some braking when I enter a turn. I am going into sports mode. Oh, it's quite hard to press actually because the car is a bit jiggly. Yeah, it's a pickup truck, so you've got a ladder frame chassis, which does send a few shockwaves through the cabin. Though being on independent suspension all round compared to the standard F-150, it does seem to go around corners a bit better. Stays a little bit flatter, doesn't skip so much over bumps, and because you've got a low centre of gravity because the batteries are low down in the car and you haven't got like an internal combustion engine underneath that tall bonnet, it actually doesn't lollop about too much in the bends, even though it's significantly heavier than the standard car. You can do an alright job in this, whizzing about. Quite like it. It's a bit more fun than I thought it would be. Right, and let's see what the Ford F-150 Lightning is like to drive around town. A rather small, narrow-streeted English village. Anyhow, perfect place for it. I'm going to put it into one pedal drive mode, so when I lift off the accelerator, it will bring this truck to a complete stop. I love that. It makes it easiest to control when you're just driving in and out of parked cars or going really slowly. Oh, I can hear the bells ringing. For whom the bell tolls. Hopefully not me today. Right, one last thing for me to check is the brake. So if I do need to touch the brake, it can feel a little bit jerky when you first apply them. Yeah. Let's take it out of one pedal mode and see if it's better then. Now when I lift off, it's just like you're in a normal combustion engine truck and it'll slow down gradually. Is that better? Yeah, the brakes don't feel quite so grabby then. It's like it gets confused when you're in one pedal mode. Let's have a little go again. Here's the traffic lights. Yeah, it just seems the way it works with a one pedal drive and when you apply the brake means that it's just a bit jerky like there. Right. Let's go this way. So, manoeuvring it, because you're sat up high, is not too bad, though the huge bonnet does make it a little bit difficult to see where the corners of your car are. It doesn't matter too much because I can whack up the cameras like that. Yay! Which is going to help me out. It doesn't feel too bad. You know, the turning circle on this car isn't great. It's 14.6 metres. So, it's not that manoeuvrable if you want to do a U-turn. However, if you like to do U-turns on the spot, you might want to check out a Rivian R1T because it can turn like a tank.
Okay, so you probably won't be doing any tank turns on the road. It's more useful if you get stuck on a tight off-road trail. Speaking of which, let's see how the Rivian R1T can manage a bit of mild off-roading before I launch these trucks to see how quick they accelerate.
So we've got fully independent suspension, obviously air suspension, hence it was able to increase its ride height, and we'll see what it's like at driving over these bits. I mean, this is easy. That's just a bit of a bush against the side of the car. I mean, that's not that extreme. This car could have done more than that. Probably looked about as spectacular as it felt. That was just too easy. What I'm going to do now is move the suspension into softer. Oh yeah, notice that. I want to press that rally button. In fact, I want to press the drift button, which gives you a sporty throttle response and handling, but it also disengages the stability control so you can slide it about on the dirt, but I'm not really supposed to do that today. Okay, so we've got some ruts here. Once again, this is just going to walk. There's no problem at all. And constant traction. Because you've got a motor controlling each wheel, there's no messing around with differentials. You don't have to fanny about with stability control, trying to like make up for the fact that you're losing traction from one wheel and prevent a wheel spinning away. The motor will control each wheel as it needs to. When you think about it, like electric power is just so good for off-roading, especially as well. There's no gearbox and you can control everything using your right foot. I have not touched the brakes at all. You just got total control over the vehicle. It really does make a lot of sense. The only downside, I guess, is the weight, because the lighter your vehicle is, generally it does help you with off-roading. It feels very stiff actually, the chassis, which is also a good thing. You don't want it like bending and flexing much. You do get a good view out. In fact, it's easy to judge where the front of the car is. Also, do you know what? To prevent me like scratching this paintwork, which I do like by the way, on any more bushes, I'm just going to go for the surround view camera there and I can see where my wheels are. That's handy. Now we're starting to go downhill a little bit here, and this is where the one pedal drive really comes into its own. And as I'm going down the hill, I'm increasing in smugness because obviously I'm recharging the battery. Woo, this is like a roller coaster. Here we go. and yeah, it's taking me down slowly. That was really steady down there. There is no hill descent control, but then you don't need it. It's just the regen doing it. This is checking out the traction going up here, and I can control it just perfectly on the accelerator pedal. Funny thing is though, I know that if I floor it, I could literally get air over here because the acceleration on this thing is nuts. We'll find out more about that a bit later in this video when I launch it, because yes, I launch absolutely everything. One thing I've noticed is that I haven't felt the wheels slip at all. I have got knobbly tyres on this, but that's another thing about electric vehicles. They're so good at just managing the power, so that they're always maintaining traction. So this obstacle here will just test the approach angle, the departure angle, and the breakover angle. And if you like numbers, the approach angle on this car is 34 degrees, departure angle is 29 degrees, and the breakover 26 degrees. And I'm going to test the approach now. Oh, yeah, it's fine. You can go up steeper than that. And the breakover, obviously with pickups, they can be a little bit long, so they are affected a little bit in terms of the breakover, but a 26 breakover is actually fairly decent. Right. That's pretty much the off-road course dealt with. Wasn't exactly hardcore, like to try this in something a little bit tougher, but sections were a little bit rutted and it just dealt with a piece of cake.
The entry-level dual-motor Rivian R1T has 533 horsepower and it's supposed to do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds. There's also a performance version with 665 horsepower that'll do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. But this particular vehicle is the top-of-the-range quad-motor truck. It has over 800 horsepower and 900 newton meters of torque.
I'm going to launch the Rivian. So it's supposed to do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat, but will it? I'm going to find out. I've got my specialist timing gear up here, and seeing as I'm on a runway, I'm going to keep on going for the quarter mile. Anyway, all I'm going to do is just floor the throttle, see what happens. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, you can hear the tyres scrabbling away. 0 to 60 in 3.87. I am on off-road tyres, so street tyres would be quicker. Let's keep going for the quarter mile. What we got? 12.51. Okay, so I think in the interest of fairness and science, I need to do a run in the opposite direction, and that has nothing to do with the fact that that was a lot of fun and I just want to do it again, right? Promise. This time I'm going to launch, but I'm not just going to floor the accelerator. I'm going to hold it on the brake, floor the accelerator, and then release the brake, because then you have a sort of launch control, even though it doesn't actually say launch control anywhere on the dash. But let's see what happens this time. So floor the accelerator, I'm going to release the brake now. Felt the same. Here we go. 3.66, so it was slightly quicker. Let's keep on going. Quarter mile. 12.14. You know, that's similar speed to an Audi RS5, you know. And this is a lot heavier than an Audi RS5. Like normal road speeds, when you put your foot down, it just takes off. What you do notice is that at higher speeds, the power starts to tail off, but you're not really going to be experiencing that on the road unless you're in Germany and on the Autobahn. It's a quick truck. Now, one of the reasons I might be a little bit off that 0 to 60 time that Rivian claim is that they use foot rollout when they're measuring the 0 to 60 time, whereas I don't. I just do it straight from a standstill, because that just seems the proper way to do it, really.
I'm also going to test how quickly this truck can stop from 100 miles an hour and from 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, you can get up to 60 miles an hour pretty quickly. Let's get to 100 miles an hour. Here we go, full emergency stop now. I've got full regen on, full braking. How long did it take to stop? So this car stopped from 100 miles an hour in 117 meters, which is quite a lot, and from 60 in 43 meters. And before you say, oh wait, but you're going quicker than 100 miles an hour, this device only registers once I click over 100, and likewise with 60. So the distance from 60 miles an hour, 43, I got on the road in a Range Rover Hybrid, 35 meters. However, obviously the Range Rover, I've never said this before, is quite a bit lighter than this and was on street tyres. I think the braking performance has been affected once again by the off-road tyres. I've got to try it on street tyres, haven't I, really? But it's not terrible.
I'm going to do exactly the same 0 to 60 mile an hour test with a Ford F-150 Lightning and test its braking performance from 60 miles an hour to 0. The standard truck is supposed to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.1 seconds, but versions with a larger battery are meant to manage it in less than 4 seconds. So let's see how close I can get to this figure.
Here we go. Woo. 4.30 seconds. That's all right, that is for a big tank like this. Let's see how quick this beast is at stopping from 60 miles an hour. I'm going to do a full emergency stop now. How long did that take? 40 meters.
It's a bit more than a normal car. Normally I'd expect around 35 metres. It's a whole extra car length. I couldn't test the Ford F-150 Lightning's quarter-mile time on the road. That wouldn't be legal. I'd be going far too quickly. But I have drag raced that truck against a 775 horsepower Shelby Super Snake pickup truck and a 450 horsepower Ford Mustang. And here's what happened. Oh, here we go again! Is he going to pull it back? Come on, Lightning! Come on, Lightning! Come on, Lightning! So then what exactly happened? Well, the Super Snake won, completing the standing quarter mile in 11.9 seconds. The Mustang took 12.8 seconds, while the F-150 Lightning finished last, taking 12.9 seconds to do the quarter mile. That means the F-150 Lightning was 0.8 seconds slower over the standing quarter mile than the Rivian R1T. But how do these times compare with the Tesla Cybertruck?
Blimey. Wow, 0 to 60, 2.84 seconds. And what's the quarter mile going to be? .2 seconds. That's quick. That's real quick. It's a pickup truck and it does that.
So, the Tesla was the quickest from 0 to 60 miles an hour, and it was the quickest over a standing quarter mile. Those times are quicker than some purpose-built performance cars. But I really wanted to put the Cybertruck to the test. So, I want to see how quickly it can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour on dirt.
Oh, I can feel it scrabbling for grip. Here we go. Whoa! Crazy. Wasn't as quick, still mental quick. Under 4 seconds. Oh, this thing's nuts.
For the final Cybertruck test, I'm going to drag race it against a Hummer EV. The Hummer has much more power and more torque, but it's also much heavier. So which truck will be the quickest over a standing quarter mile? Let's find out.
Come on! That hooked well. Oh, we had a really good launch. Wow. Keep going, keep climbing, keep climbing, keep climbing. Yes! So then what exactly happened? Well, the Tesla won. It completed the standing quarter mile in 11.2 seconds. The Hummer took 12 seconds.
So there's no doubt the Tesla Cybertruck is the quickest electric pickup you can buy. But does that mean it's the overall winner? The Ford F-150 Lightning is the closest thing to a traditional pickup truck, mainly because it's based on the standard F-150. It's easy to live with and it has loads of useful features that'll make it a very good work truck. The Rivian is the least practical of the three, but it's also the most stylish. And it does feel the poshest and the most car-like inside. Plus, it has loads of cool lifestyle darling features that I've never seen anywhere else. It's ideal if your truck will spend more time at the campsite than the job site. But the best all-rounder is the Tesla Cybertruck. It's packed full of technology, it's excellent to drive, and it's a drag racer. It's also very practical and, importantly, matches the other two trucks on price.
In fact, I put my money where my mouth is and I've put one on order. And I'm going to see if I can buy one, then ship it to the UK and drive it there. If you want to make sure that you don't miss out when that video goes live, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of the Tesla Cybertruck by voting in the pinned comment. Click on the video windows to watch more videos and on the carwow box to go to carwow to change your car the easy way. It's completely free.